had a request to share a little bit more detail about how I integrate therapeutic sound with a Reiki session. Before I let a client even get on the table, I have them stand up and do some breath work. You all probably know plenty of breath techniques, so I'm not going to go into that here. But I have them do that. May have them do some humming or some toning, depending on how stressed out they are when they get here. Once they're on the table, I take them through a guided relaxation exercise where I have them focus from head to toe. And while I'm talking them through that, I am playing this large bowl, which is above their head. So pretend that this is the client's head, and I've got this triad set up around their head. Now this table is wider than a normal massage table, and I got that just so that I could put bowls on the table. Now, if you don't have an extra wide massage table, you can get these stools at Walmart for about $15. Now, one thing I have discovered with these stools and the little padded tops, and you put a bowl on top of that, is sometimes there's movement. So, and maybe your client doesn't hear it, but I certainly do. And so I have made these little rounds, from the rubber shelf liners that kind of makes up for it and keeps the bowl from moving and making extra sounds you don't want to hear, okay? Once I've taken the client through the head to toe relaxation exercise, I then use a specific technique with the same 3 bowls, but it's a little bit different. And I have learned that in my certification, so that's something I will share when teaching a class or one-on-one coaching. But I do that, maybe I do it 1 time, sometimes 2 times, depending again on how stressed the client is. It's important to remember that if you're using bowls this close to your client's head, you need to make sure that your striker, your mallets are not ones that will create too loud of a sound for them. You want to play very, very gently. This one is covered in some fabric, and I have practiced quite a bit. Sometimes I will do a sound check with my client to make sure that the level that I normally play on will be comfortable for them. Also, you want to ask your client during the intake portion of your session whether they have ever had any damage to their eardrums before. You need to be aware of any sensitivity that might occur. And especially, maybe they have sensitivity to higher pitches, certain types of sound. You may want to do what I call a sound check before you start the session. Once I've completed the triad with the bowls, after the relaxation part and then the triad, as the sound of the bowls are dying down, sometimes I'll move over to the gong and give it a little tap or 2 or 3 to give time for the bowls to quiet down. And as the gong is quieting down, then I will very gently move the large bowl out of the way so that I can start with Reiki at the client's head. The sounds I use while I'm doing a Reiki hand position vary. So when I use the bowls, I do a little pattern, again with the same bowls. I let the vibration die out. I even allow silence, because sometimes we just need silence. Sometimes right after the head position, I'll move directly into using tuning forks. I start out with the soft taps and place those next to the client's ears very softly. After I finish a tuning fork protocol with the soft taps by the client's ears, many times I'll move directly into the hard taps. In this case, you do not ever do a hard tap right by the client's head. I will turn, I will walk around the room while I'm doing the hard taps, but never by the client's head. Another way that I incorporate therapeutic sound into a Reiki session is with this pedestal bowl. It has this nice handle on the bottom, so it's very easy to hold it and direct it to a certain part of the body that a client may be experiencing challenges with. Now, again, I like to use this particular striker. It is more traditional, wooden, covered with quality suede here. But when I'm tapping it, I'm tapping away from the client's body, or I'm getting it to sing before I start moving it around the client's body. Just remember, you don't ever want to tap any of your bowls right up against the client, okay? As I move around the client's body and do the other hand positions on the arms, the legs, the feet, I may play a little bit on the gong first and let those vibrations die out during that hand position. At the very end, I like to take this particular large bowl and this time I'm using a more traditional wooden striker covered in suede, but that's to get that nice deep tone. And then I move up and down the client's body, head to toe. Now, I am not striking this by their head. I start at their feet, I tap it, sometimes I tap it 3 times, and then I move very slowly up and down the table, just hovering over their body. And I also use one of these rubber grips again, because you don't want the bowl to slide out of your hand, especially when you're hovering over your client's body. Many of us in this line of work love koshi chimes. They're very popular. They're a very gentle way to bring people back. So as I'm bringing the client back from their journey, wherever it is they went, I like to bring them back, bring their awareness back very gently to the background of the koshi chimes. I hope these ideas are helpful as you create your own unique way of implementing sound with a Reiki session.